Okay, sorry for being back again, but I'm taking over for Kevin, who is a master student who did this for his master thesis. In a way, I didn't interfere too much because he is what we call in German beratungsresistent, which is mostly resistant to tutoring. But he did he did a good job in finding a lot of heuristics, and yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. So what he actually did is he tried to do a three-stage approach to it. So first he wanted to detect the replay in the commentator stream. Then there is a lot of metadata, as you have seen. So the synchronization points and the data in the metadata stream, which is not correct with the time points and so on, where you can get the round number. And that was the second step. And then he wanted to detect the scene in the player stream. So yeah, as you have seen, the hotspot in the videos is the logo. So as soon as one of these logos arrives, then you're quite sure that that there will be some replay. So the idea was to find pairs of logo transitions with this sweeping on-off effect. And he used full frame comparisons with a structural similarity index, so built in OpenCV. Other groups did basically the same, so that's not the interesting thing. The difference is that he took a look at 4 regions of interest. So he took a look at the current player, the current time, the current health of the player, and the small intel logo. So there's also a small intel logo in the picture, exactly here, which indicates the state of the replay. So if the logo vanishes or appears, then a replay ends prematurely before the second logo transition appears. The same goes if the player's health goes to 0. So if the player dies, the replay ends and it switches to another player. And if the name of the player changes, of course, then it's switching to another player. So he implemented all those heuristics. Or if the time actually changes immediately, then it's jumping in time, and then also the replay ends. So he did a lot of work on finding or actually tuning the algorithm by finding first the logo transitions, then seeing where he's wrong, then applying the next heuristic, the next, until he achieved reasonably high, yeah, you know, completely engineered solution. But as you can see, the interesting point of it is that he didn't use any networks, any machine learning, but he did all the training of the algorithm himself. Yeah, so the scenarios where the logo transition at the end, that was the standard case. If the player is killed, then it's over. Then he found out that if there is a black frame in between, the replay ends too. It's just one single black frame. It seems to be something the director puts in. Then change to another player stream, of course, and the jump in time. So next, when he found all the replays, he tried to find the according player stream. As we've heard, it's 10 players with 10 hours of stream each. If we then try to find those few frames within 100 hours of videos, that just takes a lot of time. Especially student notebooks do not want that. They kind of die if you try to process 100 hours of videos. Yeah, and so he used the sync points and the metadata and looked where the round is that he actually was searching for. And he starts at the beginning of the round and stops where the next round begins. So he's just tuning it down to one round. And he uses 2 regions of interest for search. It was the time and the middle of the picture. So there is the time and the middle of the picture. Why the middle of the picture? Because all the HUD, the head-up display, is changing all the time because the commentator has different versions of the HUD, and then of course this messes up the content-based retrieval algorithm. So he was focusing just on the middle. So there's one thing which is not in the slides. He discarded all the color information. He made the video smaller. I think it was, and the width it was 180 pixels. So that removed basically all the compression artifacts and and all the noise you could find. So that worked pretty well for him. And what he did in addition to that was he reduced the frames per second to 50 frames per second, because the player streams had 60 frames per second, while the commentator streams had 59.97 frames per second, which, yeah, led to a second submission of a team because the conversion between 60 and 59.97 is obviously kind of a problem if the video is 10 hours long and you don't think of it. So he got around with just reducing everything to 50 frames per second, which is kind of weird because the sampling of the video frames reduces the information much further. So it's yet another Gaussian filter on the noise. But at the end, he actually succeeded with that. And actually, that's what a lot of computer vision people say. Throw away the color and do a lot of Gaussian filtering. Then you get a lot of accuracy, interestingly enough. Just throw away a lot of information. But again, the videos are really small. They have high compression artifacts. So he filtered out them with a heuristic he didn't know about. So that's really nice. He found in the test data set 39 replays. One replay source was not found. Yeah, well, because there was an error in the ground truth. So we deleted one replay which was actually there, but you couldn't find the source because the video streams got messed up on the side of Snipe. And well, that's the precision, and it's actually pretty impressive how far you can get with the heuristics. So he found quite a lot. He was really precise and found quite a lot of the data, and the overlap was really high. So that is, but as I said, it's compared to the others, it's a lot of manual tuning of the algorithm, especially the point about if there's one black frame in between the replay ends. That's something that is kind of obvious in the aftermath if you think about it. But I mean, you have 100 hours of videos. If you take a look at individual frames, you're really desperate. You know what I mean? Especially if you're working in machine learning, because the computer should do the trick for you. That's what we actually always assume. But it's nice to see that is not changing the game completely. Yeah, that's basically it. I hope I didn't forget anything. He gave the presentation in 40 minutes, so there's more information to me at a seminar. So if you have any questions, please.